The lynching that shook the world. The murder of Emmett Till. August 31st, 1955. The Tallahatchie River in Mississippi runs slow and heavy under the sweltering summer sun. But something unnatural floats just beneath the murky surface. A swollen, disfigured body, barely recognizable as human, drifts aimlessly in the current. A single eye dangles from its socket. The head is crushed, a bullet hole punched clean through the skull. Wrapped in barbed wire and tied to a 75-pound cotton gin fan, the body was meant to stay hidden forever. But the river has given up its terrible secret, and soon the whole world will know. Emmett Till was just 14 years old, a boy full of life, with a mischievous grin and a love for adventure. He was visiting family in Mississippi, far from his home in Chicago. His mother had warned him, "The South is different, Emmett. Be careful. Watch your words. Watch your actions." But how do you explain such hatred to a child? Inside Bryant's grocery, a small store catering to black sharecroppers, Emmett buys candy and sodas. The store's owner, Carolyn Bryant, a 21-year-old white woman, watches him closely. Later, she would claim that he grabbed her hand, made suggestive remarks, and even whistled at her. But witnesses tell a different story, one of exaggeration, or perhaps a deadly lie. 4 nights later, at 2:30 a.m., the monsters came. Roy Bryant, Carolyn's husband, and his half-brother J.W. Milam were out for blood. Armed, drunk, and seething with rage, they stormed into the cabin where Emmett slept. "Is this the one?" they demand. A flashlight beam cuts through the darkness, landing on Emmett's face. There's a pause. Then, "Yeah, that's him." They drive for miles, their headlights the only thing piercing the pitch-black night. Emmett, terrified but defiant, begs for his life. But there is no mercy in their eyes. They beat him, mercilessly. The blows come fast and brutal. Fists, a pistol butt, boots. Bones crack, teeth shatter. But the boy refuses to scream. He refuses to break. J.W. Milam later confessed, "We were going to make an example of that boy." And they did. After hours of torture, they shot him in the head. Then, they tied barbed wire around his neck, securing it to a 75-pound cotton gin fan, and threw his lifeless body into the river. September 1955. The trial of Roy Bryant and J.W. Milam begins. The evidence is overwhelming. Emmett's body, his mother's heartbreaking testimony, even their own half-hearted confessions. But this is Mississippi, and the jury is all white. After just 67 minutes, the verdict comes down. Not guilty. A juror later jokes, "It wouldn't have taken that long if we hadn't stopped for a soda." Emmett's mother, Mamie Till, does not break. Instead, she does the unthinkable. She demands an open casket funeral, forcing the world to see what they did to her boy. But even today, the echoes of Emmett Till's murder remain. In 2017, Carolyn Bryant admitted she lied. Her words, her lie, cost a child his life, and yet she lived freely. But justice? Justice never came. Racism did not die with Jim Crow, and justice is still a fight we wage today. But Emmett Till's story? It did not end in that river. His name became a battle cry, and we must never forget. The year is 2017. More than 6 decades have passed since the murder of Emmett Till. Carolyn Bryant Donham, the woman whose lie condemned a child, is now an elderly woman, her face lined with age, her hands trembling with time. And then, in a shocking confession, she admits it. "That part's not true," she tells a reporter. The story she told about Emmett, the one that led to his brutal lynching, the one that ignited a movement, it never happened. But here's the question that haunts us today. How did she live freely for all those years? While Emmett never got to live at all, the world didn't forget. The outrage didn't die. Decades after his murder, people still carry his name. demanding justice. But what would justice even look like now? Carolyn Bryant lived a full life. Marriage, children, peace. Meanwhile, Emmett was never given the chance to grow up. Over the years, efforts were made to bring her to trial. The Department of Justice reopened the case in 2004, but no new charges were filed. In 2022, a grand jury in Mississippi refused to indict her. Refused. Then, in 2022, an astonishing discovery, a long-lost arrest warrant for Carolyn Bryant, dated 1955, was found in a courthouse basement. The document, long buried, had ordered her to be taken into custody for her role in Emmett's kidnapping. But she was never arrested. She was protected. And by the time it was found, she was already in hiding, shielded by time, by age, by a system that never wanted to hold her accountable. In 2023, Carolyn Bryant Donham passed away at the age of 88. No trial, no consequences, just silence. And yet, even in death, her name stirs controversy. Should she have faced trial? Should she have spent her last days in a prison cell? Or was it all too late? But here's the terrifying truth. Justice delayed is justice denied. And Emmett Till's case isn't the only one. How many more names have been lost in the pages of history? How many more victims never got the justice they deserved? What if I told you Emmett Till was just one name among thousands? That lynchings, racial murders, and hate crimes went unpunished for decades? What if I told you that some of those names have been forgotten entirely? James Byrd Jr., dragged to death in 1998. Ahmaud Arbery, hunted down in 2020. These aren't just stories from history, they are warnings. This isn't just the past, it is still happening. So, how many more names will we add before justice truly means something? Somewhere, right now, another crime is being committed. Another name is about to be added to history. Another mother is about to bury her child. The cycle hasn't ended. The names haven't stopped. The question is, who will be next? Emmett Till's story is not just history. It is a warning. And the fight for justice? It is still ours to fight. Share this story. Keep the names alive. Because if we stop speaking their names, they will be forgotten. And if they are forgotten, history will repeat itself. If stories like these shake you, if the fight for justice still matters, then hit that like button and subscribe to Dark Past. We uncover the truths they want buried. Turn on notifications so you never miss a story that must be told.